So, Jimmy, welcome to Hampton Richmond Football Club.
Thank you, James. How are you, mate?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you for coming. I'd like to start off by, if I may, by taking you back to the day you decided or realised you were going to retire from professional football. Can you remember that day?
Yeah. It's weird how you choose that day. It was a Monday. It was on the day as well. I knew it was coming to an end. Because my career went downhill from the age of 30. I was 34, I was playing for MK Dons. And it was just a time in my career, it was just downward spiralling. I had a bad knee injury. Monday morning, woke up next to the missus. Went, nah. She went, what do you mean? I've got to go training. I love training. She'd never get a no off me. I went, nah, I'm not feeling it. And I drove in. Carl Robinson was the gaffer, the manager. I just said, Carl, I've had enough, mate. He couldn't believe it because I trained so well that week. I just knew this. My knees stopped me. My heart and my mind was saying everything. But yeah, I remember it. It was real tough.
So it wasn't a conscious sort of decision of build up. So you just woke up and went, I'm kind of done now.
I can't say it was that clean cut. I must have had an inkling, but I remember the Monday. Yeah. When you asked me that question, I remember the Monday. I don't necessarily remember the build-up. I just remember the Monday. That was the big day. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a big decision, Jim. I got off of everyone. I was like, yeah, but my mind was made up.
Yeah. What did people say? Were they surprised or? Yeah,
everyone was surprised, even from like my closest to my missus, to my manager I was playing with, mum and dad. But, you know, when you know, 34, I had quite an old head on my shoulders, I suppose, or what I've learned in football. And I knew it wasn't getting any better. Mm-hmm. And that was my thing. My drive was always like that. Yeah. My career went like that for a long time. So as soon as it come down, it wasn't like I was scared of coming down, playing for the lower league. It wasn't that. It was mainly my injury, really. Yeah. And my mind, I was on a medical bed a lot. And I felt like a glass ornament at times. Yeah.
So mentally then, when you retired, did you know what was coming, or was it a shock to you retiring and what was coming out of you? Did you have something in mind you were going to do, or was there a plan?
There was a little bit of a plan, as in I had a few things. You know, I bought a pub with my family. We had a few things business-wise that we was cracking on with. I knew I'd be quite busy still. I love my hobbies. I had my golf and my fishing. I love my sport. I had a young family growing up. I had all of this. So did I have a plan? Not a plan as I have to this day. It's really structured again, my life. So the structure I miss, it was just a raw decision that I knew was. I was probably lying to myself. Yeah. Oh, it's not going to come. It's not going to come. It's not going to come. Monday come. I made that day. But I kept it all to myself. Yeah. It wasn't something that I really discussed even with my closest.
Is that kind of the way you are? You sort of mull things over in your head and come to a decision. You don't kind of. When you're younger, did you do that, or not? As you got older, you kind of started to talk to people and open up a bit more about.
Good question. I think it really changed. I was hunting as a young man playing football. I was hunting. I needed advice. My dad, I was really close to. You know, everything my dad said, I've basically done. And then managers I was around and players, I took a lot of. So I needed a lot of feel-good factors to become the person I am. I needed to feel like I was wanted.
Yeah.
Didn't know that back then, but I played a lot better. Yeah, I think it comes with age and experience.
Yeah. And when you were a young player, did you surround yourself with good people, and did you take advice, or was there anyone you found disruptive? Because when you're younger, you kind of sometimes it's hard to take the advice or leave the advice. You don't know where you stand with people. So was there anyone kind of disruptive that was giving you advice, or you kind of advised well, do you think? Because the reason why I was asking, you see a lot of footballers out there, young footballers now, probably from what I've seen and heard, are badly advised and get the wrong advice.
Do you know what? I think football is all I knew, so I'm only giving you my opinion. I think that was part of it, progressing, was sieving through what I called the shit. Yeah. So I used to sieve through, don't like that, don't like what he says, don't like his character, don't like his demeanour, don't like what he's about as a man, let alone what he's telling me in business or football. So I think that's just part of the experience, going through it, all the different change rooms. You know, you've got to imagine the change. Each team you go into has got 40 men full of testosterone, right? Yeah. So it's like, some are real nice, some you're going to get on with, some aren't great players but with great heads on their shoulders, some tell you that you got all this and you're trying to sieve through it all. Yeah. And I felt that was my strong point. I knew what worked for me. I could discard quickly and I could gain if it was good, I'd gain it. Right, I need that. I need to be around.
So you trusted your own judgment with people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I felt that was one of the strong points. I knew if a manager told me as well, and it went as far as managers.
Yeah.
So managers would tell you everything, but one thing I say to a lot of younger players is a manager can never tell you where the ball's going to bounce. You know, they're hoping the manager's going to give them everything. The manager ain't going to give you everything. He's going to give you sort of like a rough thing to work with, but it's up to you, you know. Anticipation, sport, let alone football, is the big key, you know.
And when you left football, so did you try and replace it with something else, or did you try and go into coaching? Because when I left the army, I kind of, it bloody hurt when I left, if I'm honest with you, because it's hard to leave when you get institutionalised, you do something you love. But I left on my own terms after my 22-year career, but I soon realised. Yeah, thanks. It was, and I realised that I was never going to replace what I used to do with something else. I was never going to find that buzz, and getting your head around that was kind of difficult. Did you find that at all?
I did, but not to. So other players and my mates around me going, "You're going to miss your dressing room. You're going to miss it." I've always had my mates. So it wasn't that I missed.
Right.
I missed 3 o'clock kickoff. I missed the entertainment. That was my stage.
Yeah.
So when I went out, it didn't matter if it was 2,000 people or 20,000 or 50,000 or 70,000. That stage I missed at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's what I trained for, Monday to Saturday. 3 o'clock was my everything, and that was my stage. That was the buzz. I like the change room crack, being around lads, but that wasn't my everything. I can get that still now. Yeah. But that buzz of.
So do you think you had? So what I'm hearing is you had a life outside of football, your own friends outside of football.
Yes.
How important was that actually? The reason why I was asking is because I interviewed a young lad, one of the players, JT, in here last couple of weeks ago, and from the age of 6 to 14, he was an academy player, and everybody in his life knew him as JT, the academy boy and the player. Yeah. And he almost had like trophy friends, if you like. People want to know him. When he got dropped by, I think it was Charlton Athletic, dropped him when he was 14, all those people that were around him disappeared. Yeah. And he said he went home and cried. He found it really sad and lonely. Yeah. At the age of 14, it must be tough for a young lad. But did you find that in life? You had like people want to be around you because of who you are and because you're a player? Absolutely. It happened to me at 15. I was at Millwall, and I had a letter come through. My dad managed me really well, to be fair, as a dad and as in my sporting career. But I had that at 15. Letter come through the door, not big enough, not strong enough, not good enough. We're going to let you go from Millwall. That was a big kick up the arse, really. That was like, am I going to make it? But do you know what? I was always pretty good. I knew how ruthless the world was, really. I knew that there are going to be hangers-on. I had it as a young boy. That happened to me at Millwall. That happened to me just growing up. You know, I come from a building trade, so it's like, I knew that. Yeah. I knew the world isn't always. And I don't know, I just had thick skin. I was ready for it. You were prepared well from a young age, maybe family, friends around. Family, dad seems to be you know, coming from that, mum and dad, you know. It's sort of the mentality without this mentality. You v the world. Yeah. You v the world. Yeah. It's always going to be that. Get used to it. Still have your friends. I've still got great friends that I've had from there to there. But to answer your first question, did I miss the sport? Like, them 18 months. 2 years was the point where it was like, don't get me wrong, I still even pulled up here today at Hampton, it's like, see the pitch, it's like, I miss that. Get me out there. You get that in things, so it's like, I don't know. It just takes you back, doesn't it? Because people go, why don't you watch football? Because I was a footballer once and it's gone now, so I don't really want to be around it, but you go and watch Man United v Chelsea. I've never been a big fan of watching it. I've always played it. You want to play, I want to do it. I don't, you know. Can you relate to that in your game? I can, and your game's more ruthless, obviously. Yeah, I mean, some guys when they leave do kind of have like a reservist role and still do parts of the job. You're able to do that, but for me, same as you, I wanted a clean cut and to get away from it and start a new life. I was 40 when I retired. So I wanted to find a new career and a new path, and that's what I did. But I hear what you're saying. I mean, you must turn up here and smell the grass, and it takes you, even like sight, smell, takes you back to. It can be anything. To where hot dog stall. Yeah. It can be a noise of a seat flicking up in the terraces. It can be anything. A switch. I went to Fulham 4 years ago, and Arsenal. I've probably since I've retired 11 years now. I've probably only watched 4 or 5 live games.
But every time in the ground, I do. There is a point where I go, I don't want to be here.
Really?
I want to be there.
You want to be on
I want to be
there?
there.
Yeah.
But ain't to a point. I've got my boy there, so I'm taking him to a date. So it's about him, you know.
Yeah.
But I do miss, and I missed it. Going back to your first question, the first 18 months killed me. I didn't really have a plan.
No.
Really, to a point, you know, not like it is now.
What do you think of the modern game now? How's it changed since you started playing?
So the actual game itself,
Yeah, I suppose you're going to say. Sorry, go on. You go.
The game itself on the pitch, game is quicker. You know, it's all. And this is a weird thing. I believe the game would suit me much better now.
Yeah.
As it did then. So that's the first thing I see.
Why is that?
I was an attacking player.
Yeah.
You can't tackle me. You know, everything's done on touch now. I go over a free kick. It's all in the attacker's favour, I believe. The game's quicker. It's more energetic. That's what I was about. So it's all gone away a bit from power and pace, even though it's still a good attribute. It's about passing, keep ball. Pep Guardiola movement sort of brought that in, and keep ball possession again. That's my territory. So I see a lot of that, and I'm a bit like, missed the op. Also see the money, missed the op. And even though I've done really well at the game, it's like, wow, there's levels here. But things move on, don't they? But I'm not one to go back, and I'm not one of them dinosaurs to go, if I was there. I love the young players, and I love looking at the odd talent. So I always watch a little bit of football, and I love watching individuals. I love watching talent.
I miss the honesty of the game. Probably when you were playing, because I came from an organisation where honesty and integrity was like, you had to be that way.
Yeah.
And I watch games now. I talked to one of the lads the other day and said, as a pundit on the TV, you watch kids down the park and they're all diving around all over the place. It's horrendous.
Yeah.
And they're watching TV and seeing these players go down in the box like they've been shot by a sniper, as I say. And it's not setting a great example for kids. And that's the kind of, what can we do about that? How do we address that?
Well,
is it part of the game?
It's just to make entertainment better. Them rules are only brought in to have more goals.
Yeah.
When you break it all down, I've been in a lot of meetings with officials. That is all to do with entertainment value and money.
Wow.
Because the only reason why it's all gone in attackers' favour, not defenders, is more goals. And entertainment, and bums on seats, and wow factors. Yeah. So when you bring, you're not allowed to tackle from behind, that's where it started. Side on, if you do leg, I can manipulate that in a way. You're allowing a player to manipulate. And by the way, it did happen at our level. It happened when I was there, but not as much. So you're allowing the player to manipulate that and get his body in the way, and it's a foul. And all they're waiting for is a collision. Yeah. That's all we're waiting for as a player. And them quick players, them players are a little bit smarter. Boom, bam, foul, it's over. And that normally, it's got a better chance to, it turns into a goal or a goal chance. And that's all it's to do with more entertainment. When we break it down, it's all to do with entertainment value and monies and more goals,
Going completely off track here.
Yeah.
I'm a celebrity, get me out of here.
Oh yeah.
How was that?
That was more like your domain. Do you know what? How was it? Tough as shit.
And is it as you see it as on TV, or is it?
I knew that was your first question. Everyone says that. You didn't get food. You had to earn your food through stars, through going out and doing your trials. You can tell when people are stripping weight in there. You're only there 2 weeks. I lost something like 11, 12 pounds, almost a stone in 2 weeks. You ain't going to get that through eating. It's tough, but they want it tough. I knew it was going to be tough, but I didn't really. Do you know what? The food was part of the tough bit. But do you know what? I learned a lot in there, and everyone's different. And I was around people in a change room, but you're only around the boys for half an hour in a change room, and then you're on a football pitch, you have rules and regs. But in there, you're around people 24/7 that come from different backgrounds. And I remember I was doing a bit of food, and one of the old boys I started giving the food to the girls, and he went, "Well, I'm the oldest in my household."
You know how to name that person now?
Michael Burke, news reporter. I'm the oldest. Do you want it there? And I was like, "Oh, all right, mate. There you go." And I'm looking around and going, I'm not doing the food no more, because you end up having an argument. And everyone's on edge as well, because you're not angry for 10 days. Angry, and I might have rubbed him up the wrong way 2 days before. Before you know, you're arguing with everyone, it's all over the shop. But I found there, everyone's family dynamic and the way they've been brought up can be massively different. Like, the way he sees life and the way I see it, what he laughs at and what I joke at, are totally two different things, because you see it grow in there. It's like a bee, and you're like, oh, he's a different character to what I am.
Anyone surprise you?
In a weird way, yeah, Cole Fogarty.
Oh, really? Yeah. You're on with him, yeah? Okay, I remember watching that. Yeah.
So he'd come on and see. I went on the show as an opportunity afterwards. I didn't go on the show to win the show. I ain't seeing it as a competitive thing I want to win. Yeah. I'm not seeing it at all like that. Cole Fogarty went on to win.
Right.
That's all he knows. He's a bike rider. Race for his
single on his arm.
I remember he used to have had this. His slogan was "Crazy Eyes," right?
Yeah.
And he had these piercing blue eyes. I remember the third day, and I see him on a ball because he wasn't originally in there, and he come in. I went, oh, that's a character I think I'm gonna glue to. And I remember asking him a question 3 days. I went, what made you like number one? Like all these riders in the world, but he was like the number one. And he said, I was ready to die on a bike. He said, I would look whether they pressed the brake before me. I'll go 180 in a corner, I'm not braking. And I was like, he means business, this boy. He says, like,
he's out to win.
He was up 5, 6 o'clock getting logs and all that, and he just wanted to really win the show. Anything he does, I've never known, weirdly enough, anyone to win. We went on Pointless, another game, we're going to win it now. I said, what's the matter with you? And you're winning. His mind frame is just like he wants to win everything. If he's going dominoes, he's winning. Yeah. Marbles, he wants to win.
If you put him in a team, how would he do though?
I'm not sure. I don't think he's very opinionated, and he's used to probably. I suppose a bike you need a team. I'm not sure. I've never been in a real team. I think he'd buy on board if it's to win. Honestly, there's only a few winners I've ever met in my life. 3 of them come to mind: Cole Fogarty, John Terry, and Stephen Hendry.
Wow.
And I play golf with the other 2.
Play golf with Steve, wouldn't you?
Honestly, mate, I play golf and I want to win, right? I'm a normal sportsman, I want to win, but these 2 are a different level. And then you ask yourself the question, them 3 I've just named were the very best of their sport. Yeah. Is there a reason for that?
I remember John from my Chelsea days, and I had a good working relationship with him. Yeah. And he was very focused. And those boys. The England, what I saw is the England boys, so people like John, Frank, Ashley Cole. It took me a while to get to probably earn their trust a little bit, because they don't know to trust, especially the England boys.
They're guarded,
they're very guarded.
Absolutely.
And I don't blame them, because looking back on it, I was like, well, why aren't they talking to me? And it's because they wanted to get to know you first. Absolutely. Because they've probably been screwed over so many times in the future by people, and you probably know all
spot on.
Yeah,
you're spot on. And when you meet the right person, it can be a right crack, and it's a shame because our press done it. And they've learned that way, and that's when you get a guarded Ashley Cole. That's when you get a guarded Frank, and rightly so. Yeah. I think I would if it happened to me on that level. I think I would. I've been very lucky. I've always been on that cusp. I didn't break into a big football team, so I felt I'll always be close to myself. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they have to pull away when you're that big.
Yeah.
It's hard to be open like me.
And especially now when people are just a click of a button away from you, trying to get at you on social media.
Absolutely.
Are you a social media guy? Do you use social
massive.
Media?
A lot of my fan base and a lot of our my money's now in business through social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Using the best I can. That's my life now. YouTube, I love YouTube. Absolutely. Next 2-3 years, hopefully, gonna be doing some brilliant stuff with YouTube. I have Golf Life now that I do with the boys. So YouTube channel, we absolutely love it. Talk about everything like this. Great. Try and get you on board. You'd love that.
Yeah.
Around with them boys. Tubes has been through the mill, alcohol problems. And,
is he really?
Yeah, a lot of mental stuff in his head, but it's come out the other side brilliantly and strong. So
you've got decent people around him and to help him through
he's
it.
A great family.
Yeah.
His brother are like that. I've never seen some brothers so close. But great people, love being around them, having a crack on golf. Playing golf for a living, man. It's like I've tried to shit somewhere. I've tried to shit somewhere, mate. So I'm loving it. Really good.
You've done almost everything to get me out of here.
Yeah.
Fancy a bit of SAS Who Dares Wins?
Do you know what?
I can see you on that.
I was meant to go in.
Oh, were you?
But
because I know Billy.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I was meant to go. Have you been on the show then? Have you?
No, I've not.
Okay.
I actually turned it down.
You'd have been the other side, obviously.
Yeah. I actually turned it down twice.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Why was that? Was there a reason, or you don't?
I think at the time I had a decent job, and I think once you go down that line, you've got to stay down that line.
Yeah.
And I kind of just decided not to go down that line.
Okay, got you. Fair enough.
Part of me looks back and kind of regrets it because,
of course,
I do wonder what it would have been like.
Yeah.
They wanted me to do the celebrity one after the public one as well. I can't remember who was on it at the time.
Did all the books after and Foxy.
Yeah, you got to stay there. You can use it as a platform and a vehicle to elevate yourself in life for sure. But once you go down that line, that's a
good for other people as well.
Yeah,
to read your stuff, to find out about you. It gives you a bit more traction going on shows.
Anyway, don't get out of it. You're going to get on it or not.
I got asked, and do you know what? I bottled it. The simple reason is a lot of the tasks I had me doing was with my knee trouble, and the contract just wasn't worth the hassle.
Yeah.
Plus, I bottled it. I don't give a shit. I'll tell you if I don't fancy it. I didn't fancy jumping out of a chopper in the sea. And I know what filming's like. You're going to be kept there half an hour, hours waiting in the wet. And I spoke to a few boys that went on it before. They went, Jim, you think the
Wayne Bridge on it, wasn't he?
Bridgie said, you think the jungle's bad, boy? You get in here.
Yeah.
I went, nah, not for me.
I think you'd be really good. I can just picture you. It would be a challenge to you, though.
Mate, listen, mentally, you couldn't break me.
Yeah.
There's nothing you could do.
Sounds like you took on it then, Jimmy.
Mentally, you can break me. Physically, yes.
Yeah, fair enough.
But mentally, it's just like, I'm unbreakable mentally. Like, there's nothing you can do. I really mean that. But mentally and physically, I'm not as strong as I once was. I'm not as energised as I once was. I've got injuries. I don't like the cold. Never liked the cold. But that's a mental point. So that comes into it. But yeah, mate, listen, one day, hopefully, my mind might change and I might fancy it, but I'd rather watch it on the sofa like that. I love you, boys.
Nice brew in your hand.
My own toast. Yeah, that'd do me.
Good stuff. Jimmy, I'm going to end it there.
Thank you so much.
Amazing talking to you. Thanks for the time.
No, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And we're done.
Cheers.